What's going on, guys? It's Justin from Push and Profit. Hope you're having a beautiful day today, and welcome to my humble abode. On the background, you just see a bunch of stocks because I pretty much live in the stock market, right? I pretty much live on the charts, right? But in all reality, let's go ahead and get serious. In this video, we're going to talk about, the importance of creating a watch list. We're going to show a bunch of stocks in my watch list, and then we're also going to, just show you guys how to create a watch list. Now, I'm using the Webull platform to trade. So essentially, regardless of what platform you use to trade, what brokerage, if it's Robinhood, Fidelity, TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, Tastyworks, it really doesn't matter what you use to trade. Creating a watch list is going to be relatively the same concept, right? And that's really not the important part of this video. The important part of this video is really just kind of just showing you guys some of the stocks and some of the reasons why I have these watch lists, right? So, creating a watch list is really just for the purpose of watching stocks, right? It's in the name, but it's really important, especially if you're a trader, right? As a long-term investor, of course, you want to watch what stocks you're invested in, and so on. But as a trader, I believe a watch list is much more important, right? Because a lot of times, there's multiple ways to trade. I know there's several different avenues. I'm not saying one is better than the other. Everyone wants a debate, but we really don't have to, right? But when it comes to trading, a lot of times individuals only use scanners, meaning they are scanning for new stocks every single day to trade. And that's fine. I do occasionally use scanners to search for stocks. I try to look at news, what stocks are coming up. Obviously maybe there's an IPO. Again, I don't really invest in IPOs, but they're very lucrative to trade in sometimes. So at the end of the day, how you come up with your stock to trade really could vary on several different things. Now, the reason I think creating a watch list is important, especially as a trader, is because I find that I'm more successful in trading when I know how a stock typically moves, right? Because at the end of the day, Tesla stock is going to move a lot more different than a penny stock, right? It's going to move a lot more different than a mid-cap stock, right? And so essentially, if you're kind of using a scanner and you're looking for, penny stocks, you're trying to look for the next stock to trade, or you're just trying to see whatever someone else mentioned on YouTube or on, I don't know, whatever forum you're on. You could do that to learn about new stocks, but having that watch list, being able to see what that stock does, really does help you out, especially if you're new, right? Because when you're obviously more experienced, you know how to navigate through different markets, right? However, when you're new, you're not gonna really understand, how a stock typically moves. Does this stock do it could do 20% in a day, or is this like a blue chip, large cap stock that does maybe just 1%, maybe a fraction of a percent a day? Right? So that's really the purpose of a watch list, right? So, we're going to go ahead and show a few of my watch lists over here. Now, the first one, obviously, I'm not going to go in order. The first one I think is really important is this one right here. Now, this tab says markets. Now, this tab pretty much shows you some of the broad, index ETFs, tickers out there, right? So we have the DIA, which is the Dow Jones. We had the IWM, which is shares Russell 2000. We have QQQ, which is the ETF for the NASDAQ. And then we also have SPY, which is the ETF for the S&P 500 index, right? And then we also have VIX right here. This is really just like to measure market volatility to see, is there a lot of selling going on, right? Because that's really important. Now, this watch list, of course, I do trade sometimes the ETFs like SPY, QQQ. And then you may see other tickers right here. I have TQQQ, SQQQ. Now, these are 3 times leveraged inverse ETFs, right? So let me go ahead and explain that real quick. So QQQ is obviously the ETF for the NASDAQ index, but we also have TQQQ, where when you click it, basically whatever QQQ does, TQQQ does 3 times. So if QQQ did 1% in a day, TQQQ is going to do 3% in a day. Now, these 3 times leverage ETFs, they're really intended for trading. They're not intended for investing. And I could get explained why, but I did already make another video on that. So I'll definitely make sure to link that video in the description. But of course, so I have those inverse ETFs, same as for SPY we have the SPXS and XPXL. With the L being the bull 3 times ETF version, while the XS is the bear version, right? So, of course, if the S&P 500 is going down, you could just buy XPSS and, make 3 times the profit as the stock is going down, or the, market's going down. So I keep these because I like to see what the overall market is doing. So, of course, these are not, tickers that I'm always trading. But, I do have a banner, and you may not see it on the bottom, but it shows the overall markets, just kind of highlighted just to see, what's going on. And I keep it really just on that watch list, just because no matter what stock I'm trading, I want to know what the overall market is doing. If I'm buying, Google stock, trading Google stock, I want to know, is the Nasdaq, going down? Because obviously, Google, or maybe Netflix, stocks like that, they have a big, composition in these, in these ETFs, right? In these indexes. So I want to know what the overall market is. And I think everyone should have a watch list where they see what the overall market is doing. It's very important, right? Now, the next, pretty much, watch list I want to show you guys is this mid cap and blue chip stocks. Now, this is another important watch list. I have a multitude of different stocks over here. And the reason why I think this is a really important watch list is, again, everyone at the end of the day is going to have a different style for trading. And you're going to see that regardless where you go. If you're talking to individuals that are your friends in your neighborhood, maybe you go on forums, maybe you're just, going through YouTube. Even on YouTube, you're going to see a multitude of different traders. There's a lot of traders that thrive doing penny stocks, right? And traders that they have their niches, right? And so the niche that I pretty much focus on is really trading mid cap and blue chip stocks. Now, blue chip is pretty much like an interchangeable word for large cap, just pretty much talking about the market capitalization for these stocks. Now, the reason why I pretty much focus heavily on mid cap and blue chip stock, or large cap stocks, is simply because let's say it like this: large cap stocks are generally considered safe, and they generally have an uptrend, right? They're not pretty much going down all the time. These are companies that tested time. These are the Googles, these are the Netflixes, these are the Facebooks. Companies that have been around for a while and generally just go up. Now, of course, Facebook could go down, depending on some catalyst news, or what's going on with the overall market. Maybe Mark Zuckerberg gets murdered. I don't know, right? Of course, these stocks can go down. They're not subjected to forever going up. But I just find it that, especially if you're a beginner when it comes to trading and investing, it makes it easier to pretty much trade things that are going generally in an upward direction, right? And now, I would consider mid cap stocks a little bit more risky than blue chips or large cap stocks, because they offer more growth, and with more growth there's oftentimes a lot more volatility. And basically, a mid cap stock is a stock that has a market cap between 2 billion to 10 billion. So if we kind of let's go to Chegg, right? We highlighted CHGG, which is Chegg. Which, shout out to Chegg, because I probably would have never have graduated college without Chegg. But anyways, they have a market cap of 9 billion, right? So pretty much they fall in that range of being a mid cap stock, and of course they offer a lot of growth because they are a mid cap stock. Now, a lot of stocks on this watch list already used to be mid cap stocks, and now they're kind of already on the large cap stock territory. For example, we could look at something like a Firm, which, if we slide to the right, we can see that it has a $34 billion market cap, which was not the case almost like a few months ago. Or even, ticker symbols like, we could go look into Square. I mean, Square over the last few years has been doing phenomenal. That's considered a large cap stock. Now, again, these are just the stocks that I look at. Now, do I only trade stocks on my watch list, right? Do I only trade, all these stocks right here? Absolutely not. I do use, news. I do, go on forums. I do see, what is a new stock to trade. But I definitely recommend that, it is a stock that you probably add to a watch list so that you could understand the patterns. Because again, patterns don't have to repeat themselves, but they typically do. And so by understanding how a stock moves, it's definitely going to help you, understand how to trade it, right? So, of course, Firm is something that I recently added. It's something that I've been trading for a while now, for maybe a few weeks now. And then so that's pretty much, the two main, watch lists that I use. I use the markets, and then I use mid cap and blue chip stocks, as those are just, things I like to trade. Again, just a preference. You could trade whatever you like. And then I do have something called Hype Plays. Now, Hype Plays is very small. It's a small watch list, which pretty much, BlackBerry, which is BB, GameStop, AMC, and I keep these in a separate, watch list because these are, stocks that, obviously in 2020, or 2021, around January or February, I can't remember the exact time frame where, these stocks were very volatile. They moved insane amounts of points, basis points for the day, because obviously there was a lot going on during that time. And these stocks are still stocks that people consider meme stocks, right? I could easily just name this watch list meme stocks. And these stocks are just stocks that I trade for fun. I don't really put a large amount. So whenever I trade these so-called meme stocks like BlackBerry, AMC, I know there's a lot of people who are diamond handing these, of course, to each their own, but that's not really something that I plan to invest in long term. And as far as trading, I use a small minuscule amount because I do know that with these meme stocks, there's a lot of volatility. And so I keep these in a separate watch list simply just because I want to understand how they move. And, by having, these three stocks here, when I was covering videos on AMC or GME or BlackBerry, a lot of times, of course, I don't have a crystal ball, I can't predict the market. Technical analysis is not used to predict the market. But oftentimes I can see a pattern that was coming, and, I could, make a trade after confirmation has been presented and be able to make a profit with these stocks. So, definitely, because I had them in my watch list, it made it a lot easier to trade these, hype plays, these meme stocks, versus someone who just hears so-and-so talking about it and they just blindly, buy into it, right? So I like to study, the patterns. Then, of course, another watch list that's fairly new, but it's a watch list I had a long time ago, is natural gas. And we could see I just have UNG, which is the natural gas. And then I have ticker symbol KOLD and BOIL. So cold and BOIL. These are pretty much 2 times leverage ETNs. So basically, if UNG does like 1%, then this would do 2%. And then if this does, of course, cold is the bullish version. BOIL is the bearish version. And let me just double check that real quick. Okay, cold is the short version. I knew I had that a little mixed up. And then BOIL is the bullish version, right? So of course, if you're betting on natural gas to go down, then you may make a profit as cold goes up because it's going to move in the opposite direction. Again, inverse ETNs, right? Now these are ETNs I traded a while ago. I used to make videos on, I don't know if you guys remember from back in the day, UGAS and DGAS, which were 3 times triple leverage for natural gases. However, they got delisted early on in the pandemic. But I just recently added these. Now, of course, all these stocks, that I have in this, on these watch lists, again, like I said, it's not stocks that I only absolutely trade. Again, there are times where I look at different stocks to trade based off what's going on in news, catalyst events. For example, I made a ton of videos talking about space, ticker symbol SPCE, yet you don't see space in my watch list, right? But that's something that I traded countless amounts of times. However, it's not something I really plan to trade that often. I think I'm done trading space unless, of course, a great opportunity presents itself. But at the moment, we're moving sideways. So, but I'm not gonna make another space video. I promise you guys that. At least for now. But yeah, hopefully this video kind of helps you understand, the purpose of setting up these, watch lists, and, obviously, the goal that I have, and, the type of stocks I keep in my watch list. Now, again, you can make a watch list for whatever you want to have. If you want to have a watch list for penny stocks that have, good pharmaceutical news that is coming out, right? You could definitely create a watch list just for that. Right? If you want to create a watch list simply for, the electric vehicle industry, right? You could simply just create a watch list for that. At the end of the day, it's free to do whatever you like. But let's go ahead and talk about how to add a watch list or add tickers to your watch list. So let's say, of course, each broker is going to be different, but on Weibo, you simply just click this menu button, you click edit watch list, and I could just simply go to mid cap blue chip, which, interchangeably is a mid cap, large cap, and I could just add, let's just add space just for the fun of it. and now we have space in my watch list. So now, when I go somewhere around here, we see space, and we could just see what's going on with space, and that makes it really easy to just double click on the stock, see what's going on, and obviously trade it. So hopefully this video helped you out. Hopefully you guys were able to get some insight by me sharing the few watch lists that I use. But at the end of the day, you don't have to adhere to only trading what's in your watch list. I just find it easier. But of course you could just see what industries are performing the best and find stocks in those industries to trade. Now, before you guys go, I need you guys to watch this video right here. It's a great video just to learn how to trade and invest in the stock market with supports and resistances. So definitely check out that video before you go. And with that being said, hope you guys have a beautiful day, and I'll see you guys on the next video.